Yesterday, we saw a temporary breakdown on the SPY, and now the SPY is back up to 627, right back in this rising wedge that we have. Yesterday, we called out if you are an aggressive trader, you would have gotten into puts right around 622 as we broke down very briefly down to 618.18. Now, if you are a conservative trader, is what we call out for, a break under 618 would mean that is your put entry, and we are going to continue to watch these levels on the S&P 500 as we temporarily get a bounce back up. Again, a break over 629.70 brings us higher, and a break under 618 gives us that correction to 600 or sub 600. Now, nothing is over until it's over. Same thing goes for Nvidia. We came all the way up to 163, built a base above this ascending resistance level, and then gapped up to the top target that I had at 172, and it continues to rally higher. At this point, we need new levels for Nvidia, but ultimately I do expect Nvidia, SPY, and plenty of other plays to get some sort of pullback over the next week or two. But you can't front run these, you just have to wait for confirmation. Palantir, I want to talk about very briefly. They have earnings coming up on August 4th, and they have continued to climb as well. Very similar to Nvidia, breaking out above this ascending resistance level. And if we close above this, this is our first sign that Palantir can go higher. I'm watching 158.60 to 161.75. Keep those levels on your radar. Now, let's talk about GameStop, these short squeeze plays. Unity is up 10%. It came all the way up to 39 bucks or so. And this is recently after the past 2 days gapping higher from 29 bucks all the way up to 39 bucks. So a $10 jump in about 2 days. Is this going to continue to climb higher? Well, we are getting the volume for it. The question lies, was this the one that Roaring Kitty was actually talking about? And were we wrong all along? It's possible, right? Maybe Roaring Kitty is jumping into Unity, and the shuffle is to jump around these plays. First thing I can tell you right now, if Unity continues to climb, watch $40.50 to $43. Somewhere in this region, we should see some sort of blockade there. Now, they also do have earnings coming up in August as well, but it's not just Unity that's moving, it's the baskets. COS was up about 7%, all the way up to $5.60. Now it's still up 4%, trading at $5.48. AMC was up about 8% at $3.43. Now it's still up 5%. AMC's climbing, COS is climbing, Unity is climbing, GameStop is staying flat, it's stagnant, it's down 0.6%, in which case I would argue the best company out of all of these is the only one that is down. So what does this tell me? This tells me it's almost free money. Again, I don't see, here's what I see, okay? The cash on hand, anything below these levels, they can do a buyback, and it's almost free money. Secondly, they are awaiting an announcement. That push to start arcade, something is coming. They have an announcement that they're sitting on. On top of that, Bitcoin, which we'll talk about crypto, all-time highs. GameStop purchased Bitcoin. We don't know how much. We knew the initial investment, but we don't know if they continue to buy and or at what price. So they could be in extreme profits right now. They could maybe have enough cash and assets on hand to buy the float back right now at $23.50. Again, that's not going to happen. That would take the company private, all this other stuff. But the fact is that they can do a buyback, decrease the float, and make the liquidity tighter. And essentially, it would be very bullish for the stock as a whole. From a technical perspective, we are finally 160 days into this move, this cycle that we are in which would bring you right to this pop, okay? And this is exactly why you're seeing the baskets jump, okay? But GameStop is not jumping. Why is this delayed? I think there's a possibility we get something after hours, or they try and hold this down till Monday. But this is also, tomorrow is also going to be the T plus 35 from June 12th. Now, given they could have that extension, the C plus 2, which we talk about, which would bring you out to Monday or Tuesday, where they would have to start to cover on GameStop for the FTDs. Again, Only during quarterly rebalances for the ETFs that hold GameStop, like XRT, would we see a guaranteed substantial move almost per se, in which case would bring us into September, which is also GameStop's earnings, which is also a possible pullback for the market as well, like a much bigger pullback. Reason being, tail end of earnings season. Are valuations really at what they are supposed to be at? We're taking a little bit of too much time on this, but what I can say right now, almost free money. I'm jumping in call options, leaps for January. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. We obviously got burnt on the July 18th expiration calls, but we're seeing the first legs in plenty of plays, and Unity is one of them. Unity is rising very, very rapidly, and I'm interested to see what this one is going to do. I haven't taken a look at the metrics for the options chain. I do know that a lot of call contracts are being loaded up all the way up to the $65 level as well. If I was correct about that, maybe it wasn't 65, but the IV is probably high. If you are trying to play this, just be very careful. Japanese 10-year government bonds, 1.562%, getting a little bit of a cool off right now, but we are almost at max pressure across the board, and yet GameStop's price is not moving, which is very, very odd. And we should be seeing this move any second now. And there's no way I'm going into the weekend without being in call options on GameStop. I know some people are going to say, don't play call options on GameStop. That is very respectable. It's probably a bad idea. Again, I'm doing what I'm doing. Don't follow me. Okay. Next up, they did sell that stapler for $250,000. This is again a charity auction, so shout out GameStop. AMD, I want to talk about a couple of stocks. Hit 160. This is before earnings. As I've stated, we are accumulating AMD up into the earnings and possibly continuously after that, because I think AMD is going to climb and climb and climb and climb for the rest of the year and for next year as well. And we also got a golden cross on the daily time frame. They do have earnings August 5th. Keep this one on your radar. SoFi continues to climb up almost 3%. $22 we hit on SoFi, and we are getting closer and closer to price discovery, in which case I'm watching for a move up to $26.70 on SoFi. I do believe that is the next move to go, but we have to close and open above $22.25. Watch that level. Baba is something we called out. Down here, we got the gap up, we got the retracement, and we got a beautiful green engulfing candle on the 4-hour right now. If Alibaba closes today above 117.75, that is ultra bullish for tomorrow and next week to come. I still have that price target of 127.30 in the short term. ELF building a base here. We have to start watching this closely because it's bouncing off of the 50 now. As we sold off beneath 109, we have recaptured this level. And if ELF decides that it wants to close above 110, this puts ELF back on the bullish radar to possibly put back into the long-term portfolio. But I would likely slowly scale into this, as we didn't get the move down to about 94.50 that I was looking for, or something sub 100, where I believe ELF would be on a fire sale. This could absolutely be a temporary move higher to probably 115 before selling off lower. So just be very careful. I'm not adding it back just yet, but there is one stock that I did re-add to the long term, so continue to watch. I'm about to explain that real quick. U.S. House passes vote on the motion to advance the Genius and Clarity Acts, which is good for cryptocurrency. Bitcoin's trading at 118,500, and if we bring you back to the 2-hour time frame, this is very close to what we have drawn out. We just need that momentum follow through, in which case Bitcoin might consolidate until the market closes and the weekend comes, and then crypto might see a very, very green weekend or a very, very red weekend. Based on the technicals, we are pointing towards the upside from getting this little bit of a cool off. The question lies, was this cool off enough? Again, you have to remember that this huge green setup right here was a short squeeze. Short sellers got squeezed out of their positions, had to buy back into Bitcoin, push the price up. And now the question lies, do we have more buyers and more momentum to bring us to that next level? I know a lot of people, a lot of mid-sized retail investors, will say, and retail whales ended up shorting Bitcoin above 120K. If we build back up to 123, 124 to highs, there's going to be another short squeeze that will push us to 131. Leading into altcoins, I want to talk about Bonk very briefly. Last night, I alerted Discord that I sold half of my Bonk position. Here is what I hope to happen for Bonk. I hope we get a bounce off of this support level at 40345. Okay, 40345. Write that down on your charts. If we do not get a bounce there, then Bonk could retrace this entire candle, okay, and possibly the next one down to 27525. 27525 to 26800. Now, be very careful because this would give back a ton of gains in an altcoin, but following this, we might see all-time highs. I think there's a possibility some altcoins see all-time highs, and Bonk is one of them. Okay, so just keep this on your radar. Will I buy back in? Probably not. That was a decent amount of profits, and you have to be smart in these cycles. I'm not marrying these coins, so just be aware of that. I do still have half of my Bonk position that I'm waiting for those highs for, and at which case, if we broke beneath the support, I would very well question getting rid of the other half. APLD, Applied Digital, is one we used to have in the long-term portfolio, and I didn't put it back in until today, as we are up about, well, we were up about 11 to 13%. Now we're up 8%, trading at $10.87. Larry Sachs, why would you buy on a green day? Listen, this is what I was waiting for. I was waiting for momentum on APLD. They just had some news that came out, and ultimately everything is looking good, even with the analyst targets being all green on APLD. I think we are just at the beginning of the possible momentum. With earnings coming up late July, I wanted to be positioned into this accordingly before the earnings, in which case I could catch the early momentum and then DCA in anywhere under 15 bucks, because I do believe APLD could possibly go higher. Now, again, I'm not marrying this play. I'm not marrying this company. This is for this is to make money. It's in the long-term portfolio, and I won't be afraid of cutting this stock if we get back below 750 or 760 or something along the lines of that, $8 maybe. Lucid up 40% after Uber announced a $300 million investment for a robotaxi partnership. Lucid is only $3. Is this a good play? Is this a cheap play that you want to get into? Maybe. This is what I would call a 50-50. This is an insanely high risk, insanely high reward play that if you were willing to have a huge balls to jump into this play, then you could make a bunch of money as we make our move to what I would say 525 would be my price target, which where we're trading at right now is still about a 65% gain. Where would that be? Probably the end of this year. Now, what are you risking? You're risking the company, which they've talked about doing a reverse stock split and short sellers tacking on and us going sub $2 again. So I'd say you're risking very quickly about a 32.5% downside for a 65% upside, which the risk to reward ratio is technically there, especially after this announcement of Uber investing in Lucid. Again, I'd say it's about a 55% positive, bullish, cheap play that you can get into, 45% insanely high risk that you lose your money. I wanted to put that one on the radar. Now, somebody left a tip in the description. If you guys want to, go leave a tip and leave a ticket you want me to talk about. I'm going to talk about it very briefly. This is KSCP Nightscope. First things first, we have been falling basically since IPO on this play in these descending parallel channels, and right now we are on the top of it, testing it. However, there's a couple things that I would state right now. We are finally getting a lot of volume, which we haven't seen in a while on this build up higher. Now, if your chart looks different, this is because I'm on the logarithmic scale. And what we see with Nightscope right now is us rejecting off of the 200 moving average, but we did get above the 50. If we break above this, then this stock can get exciting above $9.54. Okay, the stock will get exciting from there, which we could very quickly move to 11.30, 12.50, and then possibly 17 bucks. Now, this stock also has an 11.4% short interest. So if we break any sort of key levels, shorts could begin to get out, or if we have some major news, which earnings comes up on September 3rd. Now, you might notice here that institutions ended up dropping off the stock. This is actually incorrect. This looks like institutional ownership has dropped off a cliff in September, which is right here, in which case I'm sure plenty of it did. Okay, I'm sure plenty of institutions ended up letting go, but the stock also did a 1 for 50 reverse split. There are several warning signals in this company to not invest, but there are a lot of analysts predicting, the analyst price targets are predicting only green to $9, $15.67, and then 26 bucks, which is a 218% gain. They have had the last two earnings, they had beat estimates. If this company continues on this trajectory, in which case you saw the last two earnings down here between March and May, the stock turned around. We got this nice V-shaped recovery, and since then the stock has turned around. Will they prove themselves in September, early September? Possibly. If they prove themselves once again, shorts may begin to exit this play, institutions may begin to buy it back up, and we may see more volume and more of a squeeze in this play. So what I would say is, again, high risk, high reward play. I think there are other plays that can give you the same gains in the same amount of time or lesser amount of time. So would I invest in this? Personally, no. But will I be watching it? Absolutely. I will be pulling this up, probably every week or every couple weeks and taking a look at it. Guys, if you're not in the Discord server, it's the top link in the description. We talk stocks and crypto in there all day long. Right here, Discord private community. Make sure to get into there. Come chat with me. Come chat with the most amazing people. You can see my trades in there as soon as I take them as well. You would have gotten the Alibaba trade, which I don't even believe, we did talk about Alibaba, and then the APLD, and then the announcement that I cut half of my bonk, all that other stuff. And make sure to leave a message right here or a tip on which ticker you want me to cover, if you want me to cover a ticker or anything along the lines of that. Check the links in the description. Make sure to be in the Discord, guys. I love you all. God bless. Lottery Stocks out.